Hi, my name's Lisa and I live in this tiny 1969 vintage caravan, traveling all around the place and doing a little bit of saxophone busking on the side for a bit of extra income. In my last video, I showed you how I'd driven this crazy road from Wilcannia to Menindee Lakes, and where I set up my beautiful lakeside camp spot that I was really loving, going kayaking and seeing this gorgeous view out my window every day. I really love seeing all the wildlife and just living by the lake. So I decided to stay basically as long as my water tank would last, which is pretty much about a week. It's a little bit warmer today, 33 in the caravan, so probably about 31 outside. So Pixie and I, what are we going to do? We're going to go for a swim? We're going to go for a swim in a lake? Yeah, because the lake is looking beautiful and still again. So we're going to go for a splash. Come on, Pixie, let's go. Are you ready? Are you ready for a big one? Go. When I first set off on this journey from the Sunshine Coast with this calling and this pulling feeling that I just needed to get out into the outback to walk barefoot on red dirt and to feel connected to this country that I was born in, there was this real feeling I was having of feeling disconnected. I'd been really down and I'd been really struggling emotionally and just not feeling like I belonged anywhere. So being kicked out of the showgrounds at Menindee really was quite traumatizing for me, where I was like really kind of felt rejected, and so I set off on this trip that I'd been planning and dreaming about for so long, not really knowing why or what it was about or what I was looking for or what I was hoping to get from this trip. I just knew that this was something I had to do. Well, as this journey has gone along, one thing I've started realizing is these little pieces of like a jigsaw puzzle pieces coming together, giving shape and meaning to my journey. I felt this need. I was pulled and called to connect with the land in a way that Indigenous people, go on country or go walkabout and really have that sense of belongingness where I am at one. I am not just a person, I am a part of nature in all its entirety, and I get to swim in the rivers and the lakes and walk on the earth and climb the trees. And oh my gosh, isn't it heartbreaking the way Pixie literally just sat here and waited for me to come back from my long swim? I didn't realize she'd done that until I watched the video back afterwards, and it was just like watching her. She just wants to be with me all the time, and if she can't see me, she gets like really concerned. But the fact that she sat there and waited this whole time is kind of really precious. I just really loved feeling this connection with water in particular, and I started realizing it started almost immediately with this trip. Like in Menindee, I used to love going swimming in the river. It was my magical, healing, meditative, prayerful place to be, and that connection with living water in particular was always something that really felt healing to me. And then I was at Menindee and I went out kayaking, and I had that feeling of being at one, completely out in the elements, in nature, and seeing kangaroos and that experience. I thought, oh wow, I remember saying, this is my church. Being out here and connected in one with nature is where I feel closest to God. And then after that, I was at Ningen, and the same thing. It was those moments of when I was struggling, and I was really struggling emotionally at that point, but I got out on my kayak and I went paddling up the river, and I just felt the worries and anxieties just melt away. The more time I spent out there on that river and kayaking, my mood started improving, and little bit by little bit, as this journey has gone on, I've felt a little bit of an improvement every day, because I'm finding this sense of connection that I was so hoping to achieve, and feel this belonging to the land that I was born in. And then coming here to Menindee Lakes and being able to swim and kayak again on the lake, I started realizing, oh, even in Wilcannia, even though I didn't, go in the river there, the Darling River, learning about the connection of the Aboriginal people to that river, and policemen telling me about the river people. They call themselves river people, Barkanji, from the Barker River. And when the river's down, they feel down, and when the river's up, they feel up. And it's like, he said, that's so important. Like, it's so noticeable, the connection to the river. And they have this philosophy of being custodians. Like, we don't own land or rivers or trees or mountains. We are entrusted with their care and respect because of the spirits of the elders and the dream time that made it happen in the first place. I've started really wanting to learn more and more about Indigenous philosophy and spirituality, and that sense of connection with the land has started really feeling something that I really needed to focus and learn more about. And I started learning more and more about the history of this country, because I didn't go to school in Australia for very long at all. I was traveling around the world all my life as a child. I didn't have that opportunity to really learn about what the history of this country is. And now I'm really curious to learn about the history before the settlement of white man in this country. Like, I want to know how the Aboriginals lived and what their philosophy and culture was, and just have that kind of respect and reverence for the land, and the fact that our land, Australia, is such an ancient land. Like, we're really privileged and lucky to share this land, and I think that we've been entrusted with something particularly special, and that the original inhabitants of this land are the longest continuous culture of Indigenous people on the earth. That deserves some kind of respect and reverence as well. So, I figure if anyone's got a really good connection to the earth and knows what it's all about, then it's probably, we could learn a lot from that culture and that history as well. So I've been really delving into that and trying to learn as much as I possibly can about that. And then, coming here to these lakes, and then finding out, that there was quite a bit of history with this lake as well. It's just so much connection to not just land, but the water on the land, and the rivers and the lakes in particular. And I started thinking of it like a serpent, like a snake, because I realized, my favorite snake of all, I've always loved snakes. I've been catching snakes, playing with snakes. I used to sell snakes at the market when I was a little kid. Something about the snakes I've just always loved. And my favorite snake of all is the olive python. It's a beautiful iridescent green color that when the sun shines on its skin, it actually gives off like a rainbow shimmers. It's just beautiful. If you look in my video where I went to Australia Zoo, when I very first started this trip, there's a few minutes of footage where you can actually see them holding the olive python, and they're walking around, and I'm standing at the front, and I said to the guy, "Is that an olive?" And he said, "Yes, it is." And he seemed surprised that I knew. It's one of my favorite snakes. And I wonder sometimes when they talk about the Dreamtime rainbow serpent, whether it might have been an olive python because of the rainbow shimmers on its skin. I don't know. It's just something that I feel really connected to when I'm on a river, and the color of the water is that kind of olivey green color, and the way the light hits it and sparkles come off it, and you get this beautiful play of colors on water. And I noticed that so much here at Menindee Lakes. Like this day I went out on the kayak where it was just so glassy still that I could actually put my oar down, sit still, have a little drink of water like I did, and the kayak didn't move a bit. The colors that you can't even see in this video, because what your eyes perceive is always so much more dramatic and amazing than what a camera can capture. But the way the reflections of the sunset were shimmering off the water, I saw the rainbow serpent again. Like I felt like that spirit was here in this water. it overwhelms me, and I feel so in awe of nature and its beauty, and I feel so blessed and privileged to be so connected to it. It was so silent out there. I stayed out there for hours. I just paddled around the whole sunset. It had been windy a lot of the time, and this is the first time that it had been glass still. You can see looking at it, and you've got all these dead trees just coming out of the water. It's really quite otherworldly. You feel like you're in a different universe or something, as birds and a lot of pelicans. Pelicans are kind of funny. They growl at you if you get too close. They make kind of honky growly sound. But to be able to witness this beautiful sunset, these amazing colors, this connection, I felt so at peace at that moment. And it's something that I can only get when I'm in complete solitude. As much as it was nice to have company and feel a little bit safe from, leery situations that I'd had in other places I'd camped at. And Greg was a lovely camp neighbor, and I really enjoyed our time together. But out there, in this particular moment on this kayak session, in the stillness of it all, when I felt like I'd literally achieved exactly what I needed to feel from this whole quest. It really has been an absolute quest, this journey, and I knew that I needed to continue the rest of the journey on my own, and I pretty much made my mind up while I was sitting out here watching this gorgeous sunset to, go back and let Greg know that our journeys would part ways after this, and that I was really, really, for whatever reason, needing to do the rest of this journey on my own, because there were lessons that I can only learn when it's just me and nature and nothing else in between, me and that communion that I really, really desperately crave and love and need so much. So I hope you are enjoying coming along this little quest journey with me and getting something out of my experiences, because all I know is that every little part of this has been an improvement on the one before. I never want to leave wherever I am, but then I get to the next place and I'm blown away again by something amazing. And I just hope that that will continue as my journey goes onwards. I'm not a caravan around Australia type of channel. I'm a woman with a bunch of issues on a personal healing quest and following a calling and a path wherever that might take me. So I'm not sure where that will take me next. I kind of have a tentative outline of what I'm going to do, but I'm not entirely sure. I'm just kind of winging it most of the time and just really, really enjoying the journey, and hope you're enjoying it too. So this is kind of cool. This is actually the campsite where Burke and Wills set up camp. This was their Menindee base camp for their expedition, and they had another base camp up at Cooper Creek, which is up north. So it's kind of cool. Like, I feel kind of privileged to be staying here at the very legendary campsite of Burke and Wills. The sun has set now, so it's like, oh, there goes the sunset. It's like nearly 8 o'clock at night. This campsite is pretty empty. There are people who have been here for ages. There's no time limit here. There's a really nice toilet block that's very, very clean, and the water people, I think they're called New South Wales Water, they come and clean it like every day, and they clean the rubbish bins every day. It's amazing. I know I look very baggy-eyed today. I don't know what's going on with my eyes. I'm extremely tired. Really, really just struggling with my eyes. Just stay like open. I did have a sleep just before, but I just wanted to show you this spot because it's pretty special. And I did come down here for a walk before, but my camera had run out of battery, so I didn't bring it with me. So I'm bringing you with a little walk now to show you this really special spot. So yeah, I chatted to another couple of campers here. the one guy, he'd been here for 14 months. So there you go, for free, with toilets. And he said if you want, refill your water and have a hot shower and dump points and things like that in the little township of Menindee. So he just goes in, gets water, food, supplies, comes back out here, living for free. There's a few little camps like that. There's one camp set up that's even got its own little veggie garden with a little fence around it. A little dog kennel. Like, yeah, there you go. If you're genuinely looking for a place to stay for as long as you want, with no time limit, for nothing, you can do it here. In the same place where Burke and Wills camped. And this is the site of their campground. They've got it kind of cordoned off with a fence. It's kind of collapsed. And here is the sign all about their expedition. Oh, here on Pamamaru Creek. Okay, so it's Pamamaru Creek that leads into the Darling River, which is over the other side of the camp there. I will take a photo of this sign so I can read it later. Because without my glasses and my very puffy eyes at the moment, I cannot read it. But it does say Burke and Wills Expedition Site, Pamamaru Creek. And yeah, I learned a lot. Pretty special, hey? After this, I didn't know anything about them because I didn't go to school here in Australia, so I didn't study Australian history like everybody else knew the story. I didn't know the story. So as soon as I realized this was the actual spot, I went back to the Caravan and looked up a documentary all about their expedition, their ill-fated expedition, I might add, and the stories about what happened to them and how they ended up perishing, and yet they were still given like heroes treatment for the fact that they ventured all the way up into the uncharted parts of Australia, way up north. It's a little bit windy. They said there might even be a few drops of rain today. That'll be right, because it's my last day here. And tomorrow I hit the road again.